Never be lacking in zeal, but keep your spiritual fervor serving the Lord. Be joyful in hope, patient in affliction, faithful in prayer. Never be lacking in zeal.
Greetings, greetings. Shalom, shalom. Grace and peace be unto each and on this beautiful day. I am indeed thankful to Abba, Father, for the opportunity to be with you once again. This morning, I'm going to be long. I just want to give an update on inspirational thoughts. I have not been on for um, just a little about 2 weeks. This is because I have been extremely busy, and this week is going to be another busy week for me as well. Up on Sunday, Lord willing, we are going to have a gospel workshop. So a lot of preparation has to be done, and my time, I need to schedule my time accurately and place a little more emphasis on the work that is taking place on the island of Bonaire. So you have not seen me on for 2 weeks. That's the reason why I've not been on. And I got so busy that I forgot to put a notice up so that everyone could be aware why I am not coming on. It's not because I'm sick or something happened to me. It's just that I've become extremely busy in making preparation for an upcoming activity that we have. And my week this week will also be a little hectic, but realizing that I did not vacation, I decided, you know what, I got to come on this morning before I head out the house this morning. So thank you so much for your patience and understanding in this matter. And if you're tuning in for the first time, I would like to welcome you to Inspirational Thoughts. It is a program that is designed to convert thoughts into words with the intent to inspire and motivate each and every one of us to do better and to be better. And I believe that we can do better and we can be better. And in order for us to do better and be better, we have to associate ourselves with the right people. We have to feed on the right things. Association is important. What you feed yourself with is important. And not only that, it requires effort on your part. We are not going to get better if we do not dispense the energy and the effort behind what we do. So if you desire to be a better Christian, listen, you have to put in the work. You have to put in the effort. If you want to be a better worker, right, you have to put in the effort. If you want to be a better student, an A student, this is not going to happen overnight. You have to put in the time, make the sacrifices so that you can become better, right? So that's the main objective of this program, Inspirational Thoughts. And it is not my intention to just come and share information with you relating to the program and why we haven't been on, but I also want to take the opportunity to share something brief with you. And we are going to go into the Old Testament book. And if you're taking notes, the subject for this morning is, well, it would have been in the description, and it will also form part of the quote for the day. The quote for the day: don't forget God when you get what you prayed for. Don't forget God when you get what you prayed for. Let me ask you a question real quick, and probably notice I'm a little dark. My lighting got messed up the other day. My son destroyed it, so I have to make some repairs on it. So you may not see me as bright as normal this morning, but nonetheless, let's get back to the quotation, which will serve as our subject for this morning. Don't forget God when you get what you prayed for. Have you ever prayed for anything before and God delivered? I remember a story of an individual who came to church and was very steadfast, a committed individual, and became a Christian. And And that individual was in need of a job. And that individual requested that the church pray on their behalf that they will get a job. We came together as a church and we prayed earnestly, we prayed fervently, and that individual got a job. And that individual didn't just get a job, but that individual got a good job. And after the first month, that individual, we realized that the attendance pattern started to change. And months went by to the point that the individual forgot about God, forgot about coming to church, no longer participated in any activities, right? Something that was prayed for earnestly, and God delivered. It took that individual roughly about 3 to 4 months to turn their back on God and forgot that God was the one who provided that opportunity for them. Have you ever found yourself in such a predicament or such a position? I believe some of us, we may have. There are many who became Christians, and God has displayed His goodness, His love towards them. And after a few months, they turn their back. They forget God. They forget what God has done for them. This morning, I want to call your attention to the book of Genesis. We're going into the book of Genesis, the book of beginnings. Give me a minute. Let me get my Bible. Yes, we're going into the book of Genesis, beginnings, the book of creation. Right? It's a wonderful book. If you haven't taken the time out to read this book, it is a book that you need to read. I mean, you need to read the entire Bible, though. But if you want to find about the creation and so forth, then this is indeed a good to read. Genesis chapter 35, and we are going to focus on verses 1 through 7. And we're going to read about a man whose name was Jacob. And this that I'm sharing, this subject I'm sharing with you, is based on a sermon that I presented uh, Sunday, but with title. But this text speaks of a man by the name of Jacob, and I will look down a bit. And God said unto Jacob, Arise, go up to Bethel and dwell there, and make thee an altar unto God that appeared unto thee when thou fleddest from the face of Esau thy brother. Then Jacob said unto his household and to all that were with him, Put away the strange gods that are among you, and be clean, and change your garments, and let us arise and go up to Bethel, and I will make there an altar unto God, who answered me in the day of my distress, and was with me in the way which I went. And they gave unto Jacob all the strange gods which were in their hand, and all their earrings which were in their ears. And Jacob hid them under the oak, when which was at Shechem, and there journeyed. And the terror of the Lord was upon the cities that were round about them, and they did not pursue after the sons of Jacob. Verse 6. So Jacob came to Luz, which is in the land of Canaan, that is Bethel, he and all the people that were with him. Verse number 7. And he built there an altar and called the place El Bethel, because there God appeared unto him when he fled from the face of his brother. This is our text this morning. And is indeed powerful. And when we go into it, we are going to observe a few things. But for us to fully get the context, there are some other passages that we need to pay attention to. And I want to say good morning, shalom to Sister Ruby Paris from the island of Nevis, a beautiful scenic island of Nevis. Thank you so much, sis, for being here with me. And I'm glad that you appreciate the topic. It's a very interesting topic. So Jacob, the Bible tells us, God is communicating with him, and God told him, "Hear what? I want you to arise and go to Bethel, right? Go to Bethel and dwell there. I want you to go and live there and make thee an altar unto God that appeared unto thee when thou fleest, right, from the face of thy brother." Jacob ran from his brother for multiple reasons. And when the Bible uses the word fleddest, it suggests that he is running from danger. But one of the things that I want for us to see in the text, and we do not have the entire day, and I did not intend to go into this in depth, right? So we're just going to scale through it this morning, and I hope that what I am able to share will serve as a great encouragement to you, right? So he fled from the face of his brother, right? And one of the things that we see is that when Jacob got that instruction from God, he immediately said unto his household and to all that were with him, "Put away the strange gods that are among you, and be clean, and change your garments. And let us arise and go up to Bethel, and I will make there an altar unto God, who answered me in the day of my distress." Now, that is something we're going to talk about, right? We're going to talk about this. And they gave all unto Jacob all the strange gods which were in their hand, and all the earrings which were in their ears, and Jacob hid them under the oak which was at Shechem, right? So what we are seeing here, Genesis chapter 45 is painting a very vivid and beautiful picture, right? But one of the things I want for us to see in this text is that Jacob, at this junction in his life, would have forgotten the vow that he made to God. Now, when we take a closer look at the term vow, the word vow means a promise. Have you ever made a promise and did not keep it? Have you ever made a promise and forgot about it? Well, that's the case of Jacob. Jacob made a vow, but then as he grew and his family grew, he became comfortable to the point that he forgot the vow that he made with God. And let me tell you this, sometimes in our lives, we comfort can lead us to forget. I hope you're getting this and you catch this. Comfort can lead us to forget, right? Now that you're making enough money, it can lead you to forget God. Because now that you have enough money, you now become self sufficient, self dependent, and you think that you can do all things by yourself and you forget God. You have that nice house that you're living in right now. You're driving a nice car, expensive car, and you think that you have made it, but you forget or forgot that before you got to that comfortable state, it was God who has been carrying you through. And that is why the topic is entitled, "Don't Forget God When You Get What You Prayed For." Don't forget God. So now that everything is rosy, everything is good, you are healthy, you're doing well, you forgot the times when you were in the gutters. And I'm using gutters figuratively, although for some it could be literal. But in this case, I'm using it figuratively, where we were at some low points in our lives. And at these points in our lives, our knees are bruised because every day, every night, all we can think of is God. And we pray into Him, asking Him for deliverance. Lord, please change my life. Lord, please job. Lord, please open an opportunity for me. You see, at that time when we are in need, we're at our lowest, we remember the awesome power and goodness of God. And when our circumstances change, it is possible for us to forget him. Let us go to another passage of scripture. We go into Genesis chapter 28 and verse number 10 to 15. We will also read Genesis 28, 16 to 22 as well. Right? I want for us to see something there, because what I want to do is take you back to the time when Jacob was at his lowest, a time when he was in his life was in danger. He fled for his life. And it was at that point in time God stepped in and God provided the deliverance. And this is beautiful, folks. This is beautiful. Look with me in chapter 28 of Genesis, verse 10 and following. And we're going to make this quick. Right? And that's why I had to pull off from the program, for a few weeks, because when I start, I sometimes I will say I'm gonna be like 10 minutes or so, and then I will go and do what I have to do. But when I get into the word, it's very difficult and challenging for me to just leave and not complete, right? So that is the reason why. But look at the text with me. Genesis chapter 28, verse number 10 following. And Jacob went out from Beersheba and went towards Haram, and he lighted upon a certain place and tarried there all night, because the sun was set. And he took the stone of that place and put them for his pillow and lay down in that place to sleep. We are talking about a man who find himself homeless. His the word comfort is not a thing right now, right? But even in the midst of discomfort, he's going to find comfort, right? Just imagine living or lying on the ground, and your pillow is a stone. Your pillow is a stone. Just imagine that for a moment. Your pillow is a stone. I don't know if you have ever tried resting your head on a stone, but it's not easy. It's going to take some getting used to. But if you get used to it, trust me, it will be comfortable. But for those of us who are accustomed with our feathered pillows, that is a state of discomfort to us. So here we find Jacob taking a stone for his pillow, and he dreamed right there. He's having a dream. So that means even though the stone was hard, he he was still comfortable to some extent. For you to dream on a stone, I mean, that is something else, folks. That is something else. Dreaming on a stone, I don't know if I'll be able to do that. But probably if I find myself in that predicament, I would have to make the necessary adjustments, right? So he's laying on that pillow after he fled from his brother, right? He dreamed, and behold, a ladder sat upon the earth, right? And the top of it reached to heaven, and behold, the angel of God ascending and descending on it. So he's having this dream, and he's seeing this huge ladder, one on one end on the earth and the other into heaven, and angels going up and down on it. And behold, the Lord stood above it. The Lord stood above it and said, I am the Lord God of Abraham, thy father, and the God of Isaac, right? And the land whereon thou layest, to thee will I give it, and to thy seed. And thy seed shall be as the dust of the earth, and thou shalt spread abroad to the west, and to the east, and to the north, and to the south, right? And in thee and in thy seed shall all the families of the earth be blessed. I don't know about you, but laying on that hard ground and that stone for a pillow, and having fled from danger and you're receiving such information, it to me would be comforting. That is said, even in the midst of his discomfort, God was able to provide some comfort for him. It's because God is assuring him that, hear what? Your situation is terrible now, but I am going to transcend. I am going to change. I am going to transform your position. I'm going to change things for you. And let me tell you this, folks. I don't know who needs to hear this. You may be in a precarious position right now, but I want you to know that God is looking on. I want you to know that God still got your back and He's still working on things for you. He's working to transform your life. But listen, when God transforms our lives, He changes it, right? And that change could be at any junction, right? Because we all go through different things. In Jacob's case, Jacob was at the moment homeless, laying on the ground at night and sleeping on a stone for his pillow. But at the end of the day, what I want for us to understand is when God transforms your life, don't forget Him. Don't forget God when you receive what you would have prayed for earnestly. Let us continue reading the text. And Jacob awake out of his sleep and said, surely, verse number 16, the Lord is in this place, and I knew it not. I knew it not. Let me tell you, sometimes the Lord is in our presence. He is working. He has a plan, but not because we do not know it. That does not mean He is not near. That does not mean, or does it imply that He is not near. It's just that we often don't know it. We often don't know it. Verse number 17, and he was afraid and said, how dreadful is this place? This is none other but the house of God, and this is the gate of heaven. And Jacob rose up early in the morning and took the stone that he had put for his pillow and set it up for a pillar and poured oil upon the top of it. Yeah. His situation is changing right now. And the very same pillow that he laid, stone that he laid his head on, takes up that stone because he sees it to me as a memorial, something to remind him of that time when God stepped in. God stepped in. Listen, verse number 19, and he called the name of the place Bethel, but the name of the city was called Luz at the first. And Jacob vowed a vow, saying, if God, so now he's going to make a promise, right? He's going to make a vow, you know, and that vow streams from his acknowledgement. It streams from the knowledge that he received that, yeah, what? God is good. God is present. God is working. God is mighty. God is transforming, right? He now come to that understanding and realization, and he now realize, hey, God is going to work something mighty in him. And hear what? I'm going to make a promise. I'm going to make a promise. Have we ever found ourselves in that position? Those of us who are Christians, from the moment we got baptized, we made a promise to God that we are going to live faithfully to Him, that we are going to live according to His words. And then we grow up, we get comfortable, and we forget Him. So listen, verse number 20, and Jacob vowed a vow, saying, if God will be with me, if God will be with me, and will keep me in this way that I go. So if the Lord will be with me, right? He will keep me, He'll protect me. I will give and will give me bread, feed me, and remnant to put on, clothing to put on me, so that I come again to my father's house in peace. Then shall the Lord be my God. So what he's saying is making that vow, if the Lord protects him, if the Lord provides for him, if the Lord clothes him, then he's going to make God his God. He's going to make God his God. Listen carefully now, and that's what happens in many of us. We understand God's goodness, and we often say, if the Lord does this for me, if the Lord does that for me, if the Lord helps me build my house, if the Lord helps me buy a new car, if the Lord provides a good spouse, I'm going to dedicate myself to him. Then you get the good spouse, you get the good job, you get the nice car, your house is built, you're now comfortable, and you forget him. And that's what happened in Jacob. Jacob saying, if all of these things come to pass, I'm going to make you my God. And this stone which I have set for a pillar shall be God's house, and of all that thou shalt give me, I will surely give thee, or give the tenth unto thee. So he's not just promising to make God his God, but he's going to take that very stone and transform it into the house of God, a place of worship, so to speak, right? And not only that, he said, I will give God a tenth. Give God a tenth. That's a promise he's making there. A promise he's making there. He made a vow. He made a vow. And listen, when we read on in Genesis chapter 33, Genesis chapter 33 and verse number 18. Let us jump there quickly, because we're going to get back to Genesis chapter 35 and close up. But Genesis chapter 33 and verse 18 tells us, in the verse, it says, and Jacob came to Shalem, the city of Shechem, which is the land of Canaan. When he came to Padan Aram, and pitched his tent before the city. So Jacob is on the move. He's on the move, right? Let's jump over to chapter 45 again, back to our text, because it is time for us to conclude this morning. Because I believe I've said enough to really hopefully inspire us. So we're going back to Genesis chapter 35, right? So we have seen where Jacob encountered God. God made a promise to him. And Jacob, visualizing and understanding all of this and seeing God's goodness, he also made a vow, right? And over the years, would have realized by reading the text that Jacob had forgotten that vow that he made to God. And God, in verse number 35, is now stepping into the picture, right? And reminding Jacob of to and to set up an altar. And remember one of the promises he made. I will make you my God. I'll make God, my Lord. And if you notice in our text, he and his family, they were worshiping strange gods. Let us read the text again if you don't believe me. And God said unto Jacob, arise, go to Bethel and dwell there, and make there an altar unto God. God is stepping in to remind him, right? Sometimes that's just how it works. But sometimes we are going to experience some tragic moments in our lives for us to remember that we are in this comfortable position now, not because of our own strength, not because of our own might, but because of God. So verse number 1 tells us, and that appeared unto thee when thou fleest from the face of Esau thy brother. So that's the time when he had that dream. Then Jacob said unto his household and to all that were with him, put away the strange gods that and be clean and change your garments. So remember the promise or the vow that he made. If you take me through, if you provide for me, if you feed me, if you clothe me, I'm going to make you my God. And over the years, realized that that was not the case, Jacob would have forgotten. So when God reminded him, he immediately remembered his vow or the promise that he made. And is now instructing his family and the people to put away the strange gods that were among them, cleanse themselves. Let us get ready. Verse number 3, and let us arise and go unto Bethel, and I will make there an altar unto God. And listen to what he says, because sometimes, like I said, we need a little push start. We need something to jog our memories. Now that we're living in comfort, we can forget that it's God who brought us through. And sometimes we need a certain experience, some near death incident for us to remember that it's God that has brought us through. Let me tell you something, folks. We should not wait for those moments, it's a tragic moment, a near death experience, for us to stop and think. Back home, we'd say, catchile. Stop and think. Now is not the time. We should always be grateful to Yahweh, to God. And we should never ever forget that He forget Him because of the comfort that we're living in right now. So Jacob remembered immediately, and he says, yes, what he's saying about God. Verse number 3, watch that with me now. It says, who answered me in the day of my distress, and was with me in the way which I went. He's now remembering and acknowledging that God was with him. God answered him in his distress, and God was with him. Remember the vow that he made? If you go with me. And he's now acknowledged that God was with him. Remember the vow that he made? If you give me bread to eat and remnant to put on, I will make you my God. He's now remembering, and he's now telling his people, it is the same God who answered me in the day of my distress and was with me in the way I went. He's now remembering. Sometimes, like I said, it's going to take some moment for us to remember. And they gave unto him, unto Jacob, all the strange gods which were in their hands. Now, I want to pause for a while, because the scripture says something that we need to take into consideration, right? And they gave unto Jacob all the strange gods which were in their hand, and all their earrings which were in their ears. The gods that they were worshiping, the strange God, was material things. According to the text, it's not some statue that they had. It wasn't a statue. It was the ornaments, the earrings that they had, what they had in their hands. And let me tell you something, folks. Anything can be your God. Anything can be a God, a Lord to you. The house you worship in, the car you worship in, the job you worship in, anything that takes first place or priority to God or over God is your God. Anything, folks. Anything. So they gave unto Jacob what they had in their hands, what they had in their, and Jacob hid them under the oak which was at Shechem. And they journeyed, and the terror of the Lord was upon the cities that were round about them, and they did not pursue after the sons of Jacob. So Jacob came to Luz, which is in the land of Canaan, that is Bethel, and he and all the people that were with him, and he built there an altar and called the place El Bethel, because there God appeared unto him. Remember, God promised to give him the land when he fled from the face of his brother. Folks, this morning I stopped by to simply share a story with you. The story of Jacob, who had forgotten his vow. Had forgotten his vow. God had to step in to remind him of that promise that he made, because his life got so comfortable that he forgot God. Don't allow your comfort, don't allow your comfort to put you in a position where you forget God. And the quote for the day and the topic for this morning is, don't forget God when you get what you prayed for. The lesson is yours, folks. I have to go. There are quite a few things that I have to do this morning, and I'm a bit late already. I prefer to start the day a little earlier so I can get a lot more done. But again, I'm thankful for the opportunity to be with you and to share something with you. And I do hope and pray that, something was said that will truly jog your memory and encourage you, as you grow and develop and mature in life. Please don't forget God. Continue to bruise those knees. I'm looking up and depending on him, because who we are right now and who we will be tomorrow is dependent on him. He is the one that is seeing us through. And therefore, we should never, never, ever forget him. Yeah. When inspirational thoughts with yours truly, Dexter Honore. It was a pleasure to have a blessed and productive day. God speed to you. Until next time. No, I may not be on for the rest of the week. Depending on how my schedule is for the week. I still have quite a few things to do to get ready. And I like to start the day early because the sun is pretty hot in this part of the world. So until next time, Sister Ruby and all who have been on this morning, thank you so much for your presence. Do have a blessed and productive day. Shalom, shalom.
Whatsoever thy hand findeth to do, do it with thy might. For there is no work, nor device, nor knowledge, nor wisdom in the grave